Okay. We started with the recording and the AI companion as well, summary. Okay. So welcome everyone. So this is our second discussion around PI planning. So last session, which what happened on July 27th, we did a detailed discussion on why PI planning, what happens before the PI planning from the safe implementation perspective, and what happens during the PI planning, the roles and responsibilities of each and every individual coming into context, plus what is the input versus what is the output or the artifact expected out of that event within the PI planning from the safe implementation perspective. That is what we discussed. So today we will give a quick walkthrough of that, and once it is done, we will start discussing about who wants to play which role. And even before that, we will discuss what product or what solution we want to make use for our actual PI planning simulation. The simulation is scheduled right now on August 24th and 25th, Saturday and Sunday. Evening, most probably the same time, maybe 5 to 9, or we will see. We'll discuss the time, what is convenient or comfortable for all of us, and we will finalize that as well today. So there is an agenda for today's session. Okay. Before getting started, any of you, the new folks, Chaitanya, Rizwan, and Vaishali, uh, do you have idea about that safe PI planning? What happens in the PI planning, or is it a total blank?
Uh, no, Venkat. I have like understanding of PI planning. It's like 2 days of activity. We plan of 2.5 months work what we'll be doing. So it's a collaborative. We'll be having different Scrum teams who come together, check their dependencies, they create their own product backlogs, and they work on that. Dependencies all depend on dependencies. They customize their product backlog. This is what I know on a high level of readings.
Yes, thanks. Fair enough. Like that helps me to revise or recap because you already set the context for others. What Vaishali, Rizwan?
For me also, like I don't have any practical experience, but I had attended safe training. Training
Okay.
So I have like idea of theoretically how it should be.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. Yes, Rizwan.
So ours is a safe framework based delivery model. So we 3 months, which is basically after sprints, we have a PI planning. We have around 40 odd teams that attend the session. The team size over somewhere around 180 to 200 members, which is basically one train. And have the agenda set out for 2 days, which is basically there's a leadership connect at the start of the meeting, and then we have a breakout session for all the teams where they are asked for their backlog, use Jira Align at a program and portfolio level. So they prepare what all features are planned to be delivered, they identify the dependencies, and once the board is ready, they are asked to provide uh, just a 2-minute session on what they are planning to cover in the 3 months. Once that is clear, they are asked to provide a confidence vote. And when I say they, stakeholders are the POs and the Scrum Master who are sharing their inputs for their set of teams. So, care of, I think Chaitanya mentioned one important point that they have to disclose their dependencies, and on the basis of that, we plan out by when can each feature be possibly delivered. So it's
Exactly.
it's a planning for the next 3 months is all I can say.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So see, the main intention of that doing the PA planning is to make sure the leadership stakeholders plus the teams or the team members come together and discuss among themselves to come up with a common understanding of what's expected from the business perspective versus what is what do you say? What is that the teams can deliver or achieve within that 3 months timeline, right? That is what the 3 months PI planning is what coming up, right? So yes, so the
Right.
main intention is to not go to the sprint level or story level or the granular minute level, who is going to work on what, or what the estimates also the team will be doing at the high level. That's the main intention, right? So it is just to quickly catch up. Okay, these many features is what the team, I mean, the leadership is expecting or anticipating the team to deliver, out of which how much the team can deliver. During this process, what could be the dependencies? What could be the impacts? What could be the challenges for the teams to implement it, or for the teams to achieve that expected increment or the solution or the outcome? That is what the main intention of having that PI planning. Right? So if you ask me, if anyone asks me why, what's the benefit of PI planning, I will simply say in one single statement that to bring the alignment and understanding of the leadership, stakeholders, and the teams on what is expected versus what the team can deliver or achieve within the next quarter or within the next PI. Along with that, what could be the challenges, blockers, dependencies, or risks which might block or delay the teams from the deliverables, and where the leadership might have to provide the support. Right? Simple, one single statement. That is what I mentioned, the benefit or the reason of having that PI planning, and making the teams and the stakeholders. When you say the stakeholders, that includes the business owners, architects, product managers, everyone coming together, working together, right? So this one you are telling like 180 to 200 members of Agile Release Train coming together for your PI planning. There could be a lot of thought process had gone behind that, right? 200 members for 2 days, 200 into 16 hours, spending time on that, we can understand how much of thought process might have gone behind bringing that PI planning as an event, right? And thanks to COVID, we are all doing that virtual, remote PI plannings, all these things. But before COVID, the stakeholders and the teams used to travel across different locations, which means that includes the travel and stay cost and all the other expenditures, all the other costs associated with them. So the organizations are ready to spend that much of time, effort, and the budget. From their perspective, we need to understand what's the actual essence of it, what's the root cause of why that is even proposed, what's the benefit of having such event as such. Right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yes. Let me share my screen quickly. So as mentioned, like we will quickly go through it. We won't go through in detail, but wherever you have some time, we can discuss a little bit on that. Okay. So from the scale agile perspective, it is still called as 2 days PI planning, Chaitanya and Vaishali, for your perspective, but the real time implementation might be different. Reason: the different time zones, the stakeholders and the participants of that PI planning spread across different time zones or different locations or geographies. So example, like the two, this sample Excel sheet, the two different time zones, IST versus EST, 9 hours of time zone difference. If it is a PST, Pacific time zone, it is exactly 12 hours of difference. So if you're starting 7 o'clock Pacific time zone, it is 7 p.m. Indian time zone, right? So we might not be able to have a full day PI planning. We might have to spread across 3 half days or 4 half days so that the teams or the participants will not get the late night and make sure like they are not getting stretched. Right. So there is the first point we need to understand from the actual concepts which was covered as part of the framework or as part of the certification course versus the actual implementation. Right. So in our release trains, we have participants from the release train coming from 5 different time zones. We need to understand how much complicated it is to even bring everyone together. It is literally impossible to make them have one full day event as such. Right? So there is a first point we all need to understand. And if in case you are going for your implementation or if for the preparation of the interviews or anything as such, we need to understand first step is list down where are your stakeholders located, what time zones they are located. Accordingly, we need to come up with the agenda or the schedule of it. Will that 2 full days sufficient or 3 half days, 4 half days? We need to come up with that common, the agenda or the calendar. Simple. Why are we having our session 6 p.m.? Why not we started in the morning? Because there are few participants who want to attend from UK, US or different time zones. Right? Our session itself is a best example. Right? Are we good? As a first step. So on the framework, along with the, let me stop sharing once again and share the whole screen. Okay. So on the framework, whenever we see, go through that PI planning. So within that, okay, it is bringing something else. Let me bring that. So within the PI planning, if you start looking at it, they have mentioned, where is it? Just a minute. Looks like there is some change in the pages. Cross-checking. Okay. They keep on change. That's another thing we need to okay. Looks like the website is having some issue. Let me bring that. So, okay, cool, super. And the website is having some issue, but I can show. There is one article called as distributed PI plan. So let me bring, yes, see the distributed PI planning. So what it is, the 2 full days PI planning, the Scale Agile team was giving a guideline stating that is how we can split across. For one time zone, it could be full day, but for other time zone, it is, let's suppose time zone 2 is India time zone, so it is already 12:45 in the midnight. Right? If we want to stretch or continue it, it might be like 3:30 or 4 in the early morning. So instead of that, we will split that and we will ask the India team members or the other time zone team members continue their deliverables in the second day before the US time zone folks come, and there will be a synchronization. Then the next steps continue. So make sure you go through this distributed PI planning article and you come up with your own agenda or your own schedule based upon your time zones. Right? This is a reference. So you need to come up with your own time zone or your own agenda based upon your time zones. Right?
So how many
Good.
hours
Okay.
per day in this kind of thing? Per day, how many hours?
See here, as you can see, like Yes, they started at 8:30 and 12:45, which is like 4.5 hours. All right, instead of like 8 hours full day, we are doing like 4.5 hours, like another 4.5 hours. You're able to hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. And again, he's in the saying
Okay.
second
So
day.
Ashwin, to answer your question,
Hmm.
yeah, second day, the India time zone will be starting,
At
whereas
5:30.
US time zone,
No, no,
yes, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m.
that's the total call.
Ashwin, there is some network issue from my side. Can you come again?
Oh, is this the total call duration, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m.? I mean,
No, no.
No.
As you can see, 5:30 to 8:30, what they are doing is the team breakouts there. Okay. But after that, there is a team synchronization, then the draft plan review and all other activities which you see there. Okay. Until 12:15 a.m. Right. So second day is, as per this example, second day is stretch a bit for the India teams here, starting at 5:30 until midnight.
Yes. And for US teams, they will be continuing that on day one, like 1 to 4 p.m. team breakouts. This is for US teams. India teams, they will start early at 5:30 in the next day, and they will complete their team records. So there will be a little, that's the reason they're having that 1 hour of team synchronization, where the scrum masters or product owners come together and have that dependencies discussion or the risk identification or the coordination across the teams or the stakeholders. Then comes the draft plan review.
So this is an indicative schedule. Okay.
Yes, tentative schedule, right?
Yeah, it's not a hard and fast that you should plan your PI planning adhering to these times, right? This is depending on where your stakeholders are, right? The other stakeholders, which time zones they are. And then accordingly, you have to plan your time zones and their time zones in such a way that, there is a coordination between the two teams, okay? When we are actually splitting this PI planning into multiple days, okay? So this is just a guideline which they have given, but yes, depending on your own circumstances and situations, you will plan your, planning activities and the times as per the various stakeholders which are distributed across multiple time zones.
And Ashwin, like in our release train, right? Instead of let's suppose time zone 1 is US. So instead of 8 a.m., we will start at 5:30 a.m. for US time zone, which means it will be like 6 p.m. India. So we are getting that advantage of additional 2.5 hours. So our day one of PA planning used to be like 6 to 12. 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So that like we'll have ample time on day one itself to complete the possible extent, the breakouts as well, and then the other things we will take it to the day two. So it is all based upon the stakeholders' availability and their accommodation or making sure they are available to take part in that discussions. And that is a first step what the RTE and the agile coaches start having that conversation even before coming up with the schedule or agenda. This is our draft schedule. They will publish to all the stakeholders, state that, okay, are we okay with that? Let's suppose I'm the architect. So Anand is the RT. Anand as an RT will reach out to me saying, Satish, we are having the PI planning starting at 8 a.m. your US time zone. We want you to be present, available, starting the session. Right? So any concerns or any issues, challenges, that's the first step. RT will check with all the stakeholders and then accordingly, they will start publishing that PI planning agenda. Right? Good?
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. So 1 or 2 PIs, it might take some time and effort. Then accordingly, we will get that end of PI planning, we will get the feedback, or the as part of retrospective, we'll get the suggestions or improvements or any feedback from the team, whether the time zone or the timings are working or not, or any changes recommended, or any changes or adjustments to be done from the, everyone. As part of that also, these timings might get changed a little bit based upon the feedback coming up. Okay, yes. So this Excel sheet I already shared as part of the Google Drive in the previous recordings. I can share the link once again. So for each event, we listed down what is it, who is facilitating that event, who are the participants, and what is the artifacts which are shared as an input for that specific context or the conversation, and what is the expected outcome of that specific event. So the beginning is the business owners, and where they will set the context of what the business context, what is the vision, what is the roadmap, what is the strategy. Sometimes they might even talk about the budget allocations to make sure the entire release train understand the context of where we are currently versus what is it we would like to achieve in the current PI, whether it is 2.5 months or 3 months of the upcoming release as such. Then the product vision, solution vision, again, the entire release train is there. The list of prioritized features and the which team is taking care of which feature, all those things will be shared, published, which helps the teams to identify. Let's suppose I have a dependency with the other team, like Chaitanya's team. I know they are the one who is taking care of this feature. So in case of any dependencies, I will reach out to Chaitanya as a Scrum Master. Or in case another feature is there where Vaishali's team is taking care of it, I will reach out to them as a Scrum Master and say, hey, we have this dependency with your team, and let's discuss to get that dependency plan within the sprints. So to give that alignment or clarity for the teams, this list of features plus which team is working upon which feature, even that information is shared with all the stakeholders, entire release train. Then comes the architecture vision, solution vision, or that the development practices, which tools you want to use, which softwares or which versions, how many sprints, when is the sprint start date, end date, what is the coding standards, what are the guidelines, how frequent we do the code check-ins, when is our release timelines, the deployment schedules, each and everything will be discussed, and that will be led by the system architect and with the help of the tools team or the development team managers or the leads. That is what happens as part of this the architecture vision and development practices. Right? And as part of this architecture vision, also the teams, when I say the teams, the team members, everyone will get a clarity or idea what could be the dependency, or which team, which module we might be having the bottom line dependency or the coordination, for which we need to get that discussion started or initiated with the stakeholders. Okay, so that workflow, the diagram, everything will be what do you say, shared with the team members, which helps them to get an idea of what it is. Right? Let me try to bring any sample architecture diagram.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, might not be relevant to this, but just I'm asking, like PA planning is suitable for all kind of projects or all kind of fields.
Yes.
I think like
yes.
in my company currently we are doing it R&D projects, POC kind of projects. So my like PA planning is suitable for that might be because or people are not even ready for one sprint, like 3 weeks sprint. The requirements are not ready with. So
yes, it can be, right? Where it is like what do you say, like see, the main intention is not to go to the granular details of what happens in which sprint and everything. Instead, it is to find out what could be the dependencies coming up and how we can coordinate, how we can work together in getting it done. There is a main intention of having that, the discussion, right? So you are all able to see the screen?
Yes.
That architecture diagram. Yes. See, this is how the architecture diagram could be shared with the teams. Stating that, right? So now, let's suppose we are working on maybe one of the team, right? So maybe let's suppose like the service process team or the compliance process team. So, or maybe let's suppose we are working on business partner services as one of the module. So that team will get an idea. Oh, okay, yes, we need to have coordination with all these teams, and this is how it happens. So everything will go through this service repository, registry and repository, and through which it will go to the data management, and how the discussion happens, or how the back and forth conversation happens, right? So by looking at this, they will start getting that, oh, okay, yes, we haven't thought about this dependency. So now we need to even start considering this as part of our planning or as part of our execution implementation. Right? This is a sample architecture diagram which I got from the Google. Yes, this is what they share. Hey, yes. Now that like we are done with the branches and ATMs, we would like to go ahead with the launch of mobile banking for the current PI. So this is how the channel integration happens. This is how the flow happens. This is how the information systems come. This is how the services happen. This is where the data management happens. Everything that is what they will be discussing as part of that architecture vision. Right? Good. So by looking at itself, we might get some thoughts. Okay, yes, external services, the FICO credit score and demographic data. So this third-party data. So immediately, if I'm the Scrum Master or I'm the product owner, I'm a team member, I'm a trace, hey, who is taking care of this external services gateway? Whom we need to reach out to if in case we need to call that credit score mechanism. Let's suppose our module, my team's module, we are working on that accepting or rejecting that credit card application or a loan application, for example. So immediately I might be raising a question stating that, hey, who can help my team or our team to pass on this information? By when we can get this integration done with the third-party system so that we can achieve this implementation within the current PI or by the sprint 3 or sprint 4. Right? We are good? Yes. Then comes that, and again, that is for the first PI planning. They might be spending more time, but otherwise, yes, they might start with, hey, this is the existing one. Now this is the newly added module or newly added component. So they will discuss around it and they will go ahead. Same goes with the tools, versions, softwares, or anything as such. Right. Then the planning context and lunch, there is where the sprint timelines, when the Scrum should happen, any follow-up or any discussions or any clarifications required. This is what the RT will facilitate. The main role of the Scrum Master comes here at the team breakouts. Let me minimize these columns just for a time being. So team breakouts is where the Scrum Master facilitate. Right. So 3 to 4 hours of the team breakout on day 1 and day 2. The Scrum Master is one who facilitate it. So what it is, the participant is the whole team, including the product owner and Scrum Master. The input is the prioritized features, all the known dependencies, known risks, known challenges, or the known issues from the implementation perspective. So within that 3 to 4 hours, the teams, each team are expected to come up with their draft PI plan, draft objectives, and the draft program board, and the reflecting the milestones or the release timelines along with the dependencies and the risk or anything as such. This is the expected outcome out of that, the team breakout of the 3 to 4 hours, both on day 1 and day 2 as well. Right? Majority of the cases, it was mentioned as during the team breakouts on day 2, that is when the business owner assigns the value or that planned value for the PA objectives. That might not be the case during the team breakouts on day 1 as well. Within that 3 to 4 hours, the business owner, the architect, the product manager, and any other key stakeholders go and talk to each and every team. And even then, they might be assigning the planned business value for the defined objectives. So it might not be happening only on day 2, no. So when we say the draft plan review on day 1, the teams, each team are expected to showcase what is that they are trying to achieve and what's the dependencies or risks associated with that. As Rizwan was mentioning in the initial session, there is the thing what happens as part of the, or what is supposed to be taken care as part of the team breakouts on day 1 itself. Right? The program board should start preparing even before the day 2. Right? Here, good. Any questions till now?
Venkat, I have one question. So
yes,
in the team breakouts, when you say like Scrum Master, so we plan all that, we draft the PA plans and objectives. So you mean like making sure that we're creating a backlog like kind of thing like that, or how it is?
yes. See, the backlog, the product level, feature level backlog is already shared with the teams.
Okay.
Right. So now the team will go through that features, prioritize features, and they will start listing down. Okay, we have to implement the credit card payment mechanism as a feature. So how do we want to implement across these 5 sprints? And what could be the risk implementing that? What could be the dependency for implementing or achieving this? Right? So for credit card payment, if I have to give an example, integration with the MasterCard, integration with the Visa, integration with the Amex is the dependency as well as a risk. Why I'm calling it as a risk? Because that is a third-party tools or third-party mechanism. It is outside our control. Right? It is not in the control of the organizational leaders as well. We need to go and talk to that third-party vendor, the MasterCard, Visa, and Amex. Only then we will get that integration done. Right? That is a dependency plus risk, both coming into context. So that is what the plan, high-level plan versus what could be the risk versus what could be the dependency, what could be the challenges in completing this defined set of scope of features is what the team should come up with in that team breakouts.
Okay.
It could be a high-level user story with a high-level estimate. We might not even go to the acceptance criteria. We might not even go to who want to work on which user story, how much user story estimate, high-level estimate. That's it. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. The main intention is to identify the dependencies and risks. That's it. Right? So again, another dependency for that credit card payment mechanism, from the discussion perspective, I could think of 2 other dependencies. One dependency is, what is the customer ID? Which customer this credit card payment should be processed? There is one thing. Second is, what is the amount we need to do the credit card payment? Right? There could be millions of customers. There could be millions of transactions happening across the website or the application. Which customer? What's the amount? So that 2 details, me as a credit card team, I'm expecting that. Right? So I will raise it as a dependency. So during this product vision, I got to know, okay, Ashwin's team is handling the, what you say, the login authentication. So Ashwin's team might help us give me the customer ID. Whereas Rizwan's team is handling the cart, shopping cart. So their team will give me the amount to be paid or to be supposed to do the transaction. So I will, as a Scrum Master of credit card team, or I will raise it as a dependency, and I will bring it during Scrum of Scrum, saying that, hey, Ashwin, our team for doing this credit card transaction, we want your team to pass on this customer ID. By when your team can pass on. Rizwan, we want your team to pass on the amount we have to charge for the credit card. By when can your team pass on that details to us? Right? That is the sort of discussion. Need not be just during Scrum of Scrum, but even before, as and when we identified, we can immediately go or we can immediately message, even if it is online, right? So on the Teams or whatever the tool we are using, we can mention, hey, Rizwan, this is the dependency our team is having. Talk to you, can you pass it on to your team and start having the conversation by when your team can handle it. Right? Because one single dependency, if it is not done, the entire release might get impacted. If I am getting the customer ID, but if I am unable to get that amount to do the transaction, how can I complete my credit card implementation? I can say, hey, I can do the credit card transaction for $100, $1,000, or even $1 million. But I need that input. How much I have to do the transaction? Without which my team, and it's not just about my team, the entire release will get impacted. Right? So these are the things should be identified, should be brought into the discussion, and this should be shared with everyone, either as part of the program board and also as part of the draft plan review. When we say the draft plan review, the team, if I'm representing my team, I will say, hey, we are planning to complete this credit card integration feature by sprint 3, within which we have dependency with Rizwan's team. We have which Rizwan's team will take care of by sprint 2. We have dependency with Ashwin's team, which they will be taken care by sprint 1. So the program board itself, let me bring that program board. We might get that thing. See, the moment we show this program board, that itself is clearly, even without we explaining, the program board itself is visualizing the dependencies across the teams, across the sprints. Right. So even before me as a Scrum Master, product owner of the team start bringing that point, someone else might be already asking me a question. Satish, I could see your team has 2 dependencies. Let's suppose my team is at iteration 4. Unicorn's team. This is the credit card payments feature, which we are talking. We have dependency with Lion's team and Tiger's team, 2 dependencies within the same sprint. So that could be discussed. Hey, are we on track to complete that? Are we sure? How confident are we? How comfortable are we to complete these 2 dependencies within the same sprint and pass it on to Unicorn's team? What if any delay happens? What if any blocker comes from the implementation perspective? How do we handle it? Right? Chaitanya, you got it? Yes. Anand, you want to add?
Yeah. So, so here, that's where the Scrum Masters, individual Scrum Masters of Unicorns, and then Lions and Tigers teams, right? They would play an important role here, coordinating between these 3 teams together. Because as we see, right, if the credit card payments, which has to be completed by Unicorn in the 4th sprint, requires these 2 dependencies to be addressed, this could be a challenge, right? Because it is appearing in the same sprint, and there is quite possibility or a likelihood that, it will get spilled over, right? So there might be some discussions happening during these team breakouts, okay, wherein unicorns PO or a scrum master may get in touch with lions and tigers teams, their scrum masters and product owners, telling about this particular dependency and doing some sort of a negotiation there. There could be a possibility of a negotiation wherein these dependencies may be perhaps brought forward, rather, so that they can be done maybe in iteration 3 instead of iteration 4, so that the risk of not meeting that dependency could be mitigated to some level. So those kind of discussions, interdependency discussions, would happen in a team breakout. So the objective of the team breakout is not just to come up with the plan, okay, discuss these interdependencies between the teams, okay, and come up with a mutually understandable or agreeable solution between the two, okay. And if we see that there is still risk, okay, about this, they will have to raise the risks, okay, as a part of risk roaming exercise during this PI planning, wherein they have to identify and highlight those risks and either come up with some sort of a mitigation plan, or depending on various risk response strategies, they have to come up with some sort of a solution on that. So that is the main intention of these team breakouts happening, right? And then this program board will give you the a very clear visibility with respect to these dependencies and how and which teams are doing that, or addressing those dependencies together. So it gives a bird's eye view of all the feature teams together, which are working in a particular PI as a part of your agile release stream.
So Anand, just to ask, so when we are presenting, when release stream, when this particular board is being presented, this will be a high level. But if in later stage we find any dependencies, we'll do the same thing as Scrum Masters, no? Or else we will be going to the PO and PO will be communicating those things.
During the execution, see, once we complete the PI planning and that we start the sprints, right? This program board will be still used, still referred. Let's suppose we are in sprint 1. Sprint 1 is done. So we are going to sprint 2. Right. So then even before going it, so during the scrum of that specific release train, plus during the PO sync, again this program board will be referred. Right. So then the unicorns team, let's suppose I'm the RTE of this release train. I will ask, hey, unicorns team, how are you doing on your feature, which is tagged to the release? This is coming up in next sprint. Right now, you're in sprint 2, it is coming up in sprint 3. So how are we doing it? And how is that the dependency with the lines team is coming up? Or even before going to unicorns team, I might identify or observe how these 3 dependencies from bears, tigers, or user experience completed within sprint 1, and how this team is doing it as part of the sprint 2, because that is directly impacting the release. Right, Chaitanya, you got it? So
yeah, I got
this
it.
This is not just during the PI planning. This should be used throughout the PI, and by that, as we go it, and then there is a first thing we will discuss, and then next thing is like, again, hey, we are now in sprint 2. Do we want to do any adjustments, or is there any new dependencies coming up, or is there any thing which we identified as a dependency but not a active valid dependency, or it might be already resolved? Let's update it. Let's reflect it.
So like what happens during the scrums, right? Individual scrum teams, right? When we actually do the scrum sprint planning, right? What happens is during the daily stand-ups, right? Or daily scrums, right? We track the progress and we also, try to understand if there are any dependencies, if there are any impediments, and how they should be discussed, right? And how they should be resolved. Similarly, at the PI level also, as a part of the art sync or a scrum of scrum, right? All these dependencies, interdependencies are discussed in each iteration during execution. Okay. And release train engineer, along with the individual scrum masters for those teams, they bring up those topics, they bring up those dependencies and check how the teams are actually progressing on those features, on those dependencies. Are they getting any kind of a blockers? If they need any kind of a help, you know, all those things are discussed and brought in the during the scrum of scrum or the art sync, okay, as a part of the PI execution activity. So planning is done at a high level, but the execution is an important part, wherein all those dependencies and the commitments which were done at the time of PI planning are constantly monitored and tracked at a regular interval. Okay.
Yeah, got it, Anand. Thanks for explaining.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Yeah, we are good. Anyone else has any question? This again, as mentioned, this planning board or program board is not just used during the PI planning. It will be used throughout. And during the completion, during the inspect and adapt as well, we will use this as a reference for identifying what could be the challenge, what happened during the completed PI and how we want to improvise for the upcoming PI. So these pointers we will discuss. This is like a living document. Continuously updates will be happening, and again, it is not to be prepared separately. One-time configuration. Whatever the updates we do, either in the Jira or Rally or HG DevOps, whatever the tool we are using, that will directly or indirectly reflect on these tools, whatever the tool we are using for the PI planning and execution. Right. So we will do that during the simulation. We are trying to make use of the tool called as Candice. So during that, you will get more clarity or more idea what or how it is.
Just one question.
Yes.
So as you shared the program body here, right? Like the team Unicorn, Lions, Bears, Eagles. So like, for example, the team from Unicorns, the entire team should be available for art, or like only the leads or the managers?
Entire team. That is the benefit we get by making everyone attend. See, the teams, what do you say, the leads, the product owners, scrum masters already know the details. So by bringing in the teams, we might get the different perspectives or different thought process or different questions or different concerns raised by the team, because end of the day, they are the ones who are doing the implementation. Right? I can go and give a commitment on behalf of the team or on behalf of the release line that my team or my release line can implement that face recognition or finger thumbprint recognition. But what if that itself might take minimum 6 months to complete? I'm not the one who is doing that implementation. So I might not be having exact details or exact challenges or dependencies. The team is the one who is doing that ground level work. Team is the one who do day in, day out within that code, within that architecture, within that implementation. That's the main reason why the team members are involved in this planning discussion itself. Does it answer your question, Ani?
Yeah, we understood, but actually, it's coming to the practical implementation. Like there are management people, like different teams are involved. So
yes,
that's the only concern. Because in their team, like there are 4 to 5 teams and around 100+ people are there. Like how the management will agree is a bit different like how to implement it practically is a difficult challenge, what I think.
I will
Venkat,
ask Rizwan
just to add on this point also, with Anil. So because I have seen where teams like management itself is asking, don't involve whole
Yeah.
team. Instead, bring only you, be you yourself and leads itself only. In those scenario, how can we say?
Yes. So I will ask one simple question. What's the difference between that waterfall way of working versus this agile way of working then?
Yeah,
Simple,
I understand.
right?
Understand.
No,
You
no.
know, Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Anand, just a minute. So, the main intention of having this PI planning itself is to hear from the team how or what can we achieve this, or will there be any challenges in implementing this, or will there be any issues getting that implementation done? Right. I would like to ask Rizwan to share his experience because their release train, they have like 200 folks. Oh, okay. Looks like Rizwan dropped off. May join back, but yes. Yeah, Anand, you want to go ahead?
No. So yeah, I mean, I don't remember who has asked that question, but yes, I would say that, if the management says that, only involve team leaders, okay, and not the individual team members, what we should actually ask in a rather a polite or assertive ways, who is actually doing the work, right? It is not the team leads who are actually going to develop that particular feature or that story, right? It is going to be, the individual team members who will be working, right? So they also need to understand and align, towards this planning activity and the exercise, so that they understand that what kind of a dependencies, what kind of interdependencies they need to get involved into, right? So bringing all the teams together, which SAFe also recommends, would definitely make a sense over here at the time of PI planning activities. Okay, and this is some where your team coach or your Scrum Master or RTs can help educate the people or the management here about having an importance of every team member getting aligned to this planning activity.
You're all able to see the screen, the picture?
Yeah.
Yes. See, this is what is happening even now at the Scrum team level. This is a story about that blind man and elephant. Whoever is touching that part of that elephant, they are assuming only that is the thing. But that entire bigger picture, the overall context is missing or is not available to them because they are looking or they are considering only that part. That is the reason half the times the team level integration issues or the dependencies identification or the discussion or the coordination is not happening in an effective way. Right? The other thing, yes, this is one of my best example which I can bring. Let's suppose team A has to do this part of the wall painting, just do nothing. Team B has to do this part of the wall. It is impossible. They're not doing the individual work. It is a collaborative work. So just do it. Nothing is impossible. Only when both the teams come together and understand what is the best practices, the standards, guidelines, and what is the dependency coming, how we coordinate among ourselves, how we synchronize among ourselves, what's the common standards, guidelines required to be followed. That is the bigger picture. The teams or the team members are ideally getting as part of this PI plan. Now, from this example, team A and team B, they both need to come together and figure out where this do is ending versus where this it should start. where this nothing is ending versus where this is impossible should start. What's the size? What's the color coding? What's the font? Everything they will be discussing, or they will be coming together to a common understanding as part of that PI planning. The team B simply could say, hey, our scope of work is, it is impossible. I will start from here. It is impossible. Why I need to start from here? Who is providing that context, or how or when the team is getting that clarity or context? If in case we are doing only the team leads or the scrum masters or the products are only involved in that planning.
So
Anil, does it answer your question?
Yeah, it answered, but just one thing to clarify with that. Let's say we are doing program planning or program planning, right? It is at higher level planning, a draft level plan.
Yes.
Right. Again, when it comes to the individual sprints, again we need to break down our features and we need to work.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So that's why. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So when again we need to have a more discussion. Also, I know that overall point I understood, but still to have better clarity, just I'm asking this question.
Sure. Sure.
Like why to have an entire team once again? Because see, to say it honestly, in my company, the people will working under shared projects. 50% in one project, 50% another project, and wherever the priority comes, they move to there. And here the leads will come and attend the requirements and they'll take it up and then again they discuss it at the sprint level individually. This is how we are working to our understanding of the project. That doesn't mean that we are implementing entire agile or entire safe, but like we made ourselves so that the people should not get more trouble. That's the only what we are doing.
Yes. See, as per your context, yes, that is totally understandable. That is so, like, because of the shared team members, yes, it might they might feel like too much overload or too much overwhelming by attending multiple PI plannings or multiple things as such, because they never know when, where they have to work. Yes, as per that context, yes, it works from that perspective. But I again that differs from the organization to organization. And again, see, whether the Scrum Guide or Kanban or SAFe or anything, they are just providing the best practices, standards, or guidelines. It is up to us how and why or what we are making use of these practices in our own context.
Yeah.
Yes. See, this is one of the in-person PI planning. All the stakeholders are on the stage, right? And each table is a team, and they have their boards, everything, right? See, this is how the actual PI planning used to happen. As you can see, half the tables are empty, and they're all discussing. See, these three folks are discussing about one of the dependency or the one of the feature implementation. They're from different teams. These folks are from different teams or different contexts. Folks from here are different contexts. So they're all discussing about different roles or different stakeholders of different features, about the dependencies, about the risks, about the coordination required. Nothing about the actual implementation. Actual implementation level or the detailed discussion happens at that sprint level or team level. Right? So if the team members are not there, the discussion will be only like this, the closed discussion, and they will come and pass on that inputs. That's what used to happen before I start working on the agile way. My lead or my manager used to come and say that, Satish, this is the scope of work. These are the timelines. These are the release times. You need to complete this. Okay, I will do it. That's it. As an individual, I'm just focused on getting my work done. That's it. Right? So the reason why even not only this, forget about safe. We get this type of concerns even for sprint planning. Why do you need entire team for sprint planning? Only the product owner, scrum master, and lead will do the sprint planning. Yeah, go ahead and do it. If that is what you are expecting, yeah, go ahead and do it. That's fine. But end of the day, that will have its own positives or negatives or side effects. That's it. That's what I can say.
Yeah.
And this is how, again, as we are discussing, this is how the physical board used to be, the program board. And this is how the Scrum Masters used to discuss. See, he's RT. These are the Scrum Masters or product owners. I don't remember who the role it is, but they are discussing, hey, we have to complete this by this sprint. So the actual program board they are discussing, and they are doing the updates during the PI plan. Right? That is how it used to happen. But now we are all they're even using the what do you say, the ladders to do that sticky notes and that dependencies or risks, everything, because the size of the board and everything. This is how we used to do the PI planning. Now everything is virtual. Yes, we are making use of the different online tools. Right? Anil, are we good?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. So to your point, right? If in case the team might not be participating, a team might not be even required, that is where maybe the first staff or that as part of the distributor, the common context, maybe whoever it is interested, whoever it is required, we can pass on that invite to them and we can ask them to take part in that. And the team breakouts is where I expect the Scrum Master and Product Owner to have the closed conversation with respect to teams and set the context. Hey, this is what we are trying to achieve. This is what our release timelines. This is what our scope. This is what our features, and these are the dependent features. So we need to start working on that. So that information which was shared in the first 4 conversations or sessions should be again passed on to the team by these team level stakeholders. Again, if it is from the safe implementation perspective. Otherwise, yes, if the team is already there, the team, even before coming to the team breakouts, the team might even start raising the questions during the business contact or product vision or architecture vision. And there itself, they start raising the risk or a concern or a dependency or something. Hey, you are asking us, you're expecting us to do this. This could be the challenge. This could be the dependency. So the main intention is to bring that leadership and the team members together so that the dependency risks and any challenges can be discussed upfront when everyone is there. Okay. Yes.
So just to add to what Satish said, right? That is why this kind of a planning or rather PI planning preparation happens much before than the actual event, so that all these interdependencies, risks are well thought about, well judged by the teams, so that they are already aware of some of the things over there, and which they can bring up with the other teams during the actual PI planning event, so that all those interdependencies and risks could be discussed very well, by having a very clear context and understanding and idea about what those dependencies are. That is why the PI planning preparation, which we discussed, sorry, during our last session, plays a very key and important role over here. Okay. In order to have a successful PI planning happening.
So I have a small question here, Anand. What the question here is, all the 5 iterations, they will have a capacity planning done before, this particular day. Is it supposed to be that advanced?
It is high level.
At a high level.
It is high level.
At a high level, yes.
So
see, as part of previous completed PI, we know the velocity of the team, right? For the completed PI, so we will take that as a baseline and say that okay, yes, this specific team achieved 150 story points in the previous PI for 5 sprints. So by 30 story points is the average velocity of this specific team for the upcoming PI. So that high level velocity or the average velocity is taken as part of that PI planning.
Yes. So the historical velocity, as Satish said, right, could be a very good input if you are having a seasoned PI planning wherein you already have done some of the PIs before, right? And historically, you know what is your team's velocity and all other things, right?
So
But
I have
in
a
addition, in addition, what we also used to do is, you know, the capacity is calculated based on teams' leave plans also. So
Yes, that's
in
the next one.
in our you know, context, what we used to do, okay, is we used to ask teams to provide their you know, again, that plan is at a high level, it can change, okay, but at least give us you know, your vacation and plans for the next 3 months, so that we can actually calculate the capacity, okay, in addition to that historical velocity which we already know, okay, which will try help us to, you know, do a planning in a better way.
Yeah, so the product owner has to play a very important role, I think, because the 5 sprints backlogs have to be ready, and I think
Not the 5 sprint backlog, Ashwin. So the features,
No.
product owner
Yes.
defines the features, and it is up to the team and product owner to come together to define the high level user stories.
okay.
Not in detail, because each sprint, again, we will have the detailed, the sprint backlog or the backlog refinement, where then they will discuss, okay, so the next sprint, these are the set of user stories which you want to discuss, which you want to implement. So let's refine it and get prepared for the sprint planning. So the PI planning is whole focus is on the features, dependencies, and risks identification, resolution.
See, every team will be still doing their sprint planning,
Sprint
backlog
planning will be
refinements,
still be there.
you know, will still be there. Okay. So it's not that at the end of the PI planning, each and every team should have their backlog, you know, defined for all the 5 sprints. Yes, it can be defined at a very high level, but it's subject to change. Okay. During the actual sprint planning activities and the backlog refinements, which will happen for the individual teams during the PI execution, okay, the you know, the backlog for every team can be tweaked or changed or adjusted depending on the situations and the circumstances at that time. Okay, so all those sprint planning, backlog refinements at which happens at a sprint level, they are still going to happen even after PI planning is over. And the individual scrum masters and product owners will drive that.
Okay. What would be the main measure here, velocity or capacity? Because that is that's a big question again.
Yes. So it can vary across the release trains or the teams. Ideally or typically, it can be the velocity. It can be again, right? Based upon how the release train is taking it up. However, the capacity is also considered. So as a release train, they need to come up with their own guidelines or standards. What is it they would like to achieve or they would like to follow? But it should be common across all the teams of that release train. We can't say my team will follow velocity, your team will follow capacity. No, the entire release train level, they will come together. When I say they, the RTs, Scrum Masters, and product owners, they will come together and they will discuss what approach they want to follow.
Because scaled agile doesn't say go by velocity, go by capacity. It says business value, actual value, right? When you go into PI planning. So what should a Scrum team do? Because they are used to velocity or, you know, mostly into that particular.
Business value and actual value we will discuss, but that comes at the feature level, not at the sprint level. Right? The feature is different. The one feature can be done across 2-3 sprints. So that is a different thing altogether.
Okay,
see, what you're trying to do over here is trying to compare orange versus apple, because for the planning purpose, okay, you will need a capacity and velocity. Okay, what business value which you are getting is an outcome basically.
Okay.
Okay. So outcome is something which is measured at the end of the the PI cycle, right? And
Okay.
then the actual business value is given. So what we are when we are talking about business value, it is actually an outcome which we are talking about. Here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, what value we are actually delivering to the business. Whereas when we are talking about planning, we are talking about capacity and velocity, which is used by each team, okay, to plan or break down their features into multiple iterations, okay, breaking down them into the stories at a high level, okay, during PI planning, so that based on the capacity or the velocity for every iteration, they will accordingly split all those broken down features into multiple iterations.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Anand.
Yeah. Welcome.
So, I mean, why I'm asking you, because I worked on project velocity. They're very they really don't understand velocity. The only thing they'll understand is capacity. Because that's how
Yes.
the budgeting is done. That's how the project manager is billing each of the resources. I mean, I worked on many Scrum projects, but velocity is something, it is, I see this very I mean, typical to, I mean, some companies have it, some companies don't have it. So
Yes.
that's
So
why I'm
if
asking
that
you
is the
how.
case, yes. If that is the case, yes, your release line should go ahead with the capacity. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So as we discussed, right? I mean, the train can take decide on the approach that whether they want to go the velocity or capacity, right? And they can accordingly decide.
That is
From
where
my yeah.
the planning context and planning context, which was facilitated by RT along with the Scrum Masters, will play again key role. Of course, they don't wait until that point of time during the pipeline, but even before that, the RT and Scrum Masters and product owners come together and discuss, hey, okay, how do you want to go ahead with our, whether they want to go with capacity or velocity or any other approach or whatever it is, how do we come up with a sprint timelines for the sprint capacity? They will discuss, and during this PI planning, they will be officially publishing or announcing for everyone inside, including the stakeholders. And this is the approach we are following, and this is how the teams will come up with their plans.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Now, the last part of day one, we'll quickly finish it up and we'll go to the day two agenda. The last part of day one is where a lot of, based upon the draft plan. Yes, Anand, 7:18. Yes, we will finish it up by 8 today. So the last part of day one is like the management review and problem solving. Based upon the risks, challenges, dependencies identified by the team and published, they will start, the management team will start discussing among themselves. Okay, we want to achieve this, but the team is raising concerns or risks, dependencies in this format. These are the number of risks or the dependencies identified by the team. So how do you want to go ahead? Can we go ahead and get this done still with these known risks, known dependencies, known challenges? Or we want to revise the scope, or we want to revise the budgets, we want to revise the allocations? What is it we want to do? That is what happens on the last part of day one as part of the typical Scrum on the SAFe agenda. And the outcome could be the scope changes, the priority changes, or the budget changes, or it could be anything. Or sometimes it could be even the team changes also. Team changes in sense, hey, instead of your team, can you handle this team or this feature? Or instead of one team handling that feature, can we split that feature into two teams and handle it? Of course, that's skilling, the knowledge, the experience, expertise, all these things come into context. But yes, wherever, whatever it is possible, they will try to have that conversations and they will try to bring that adjustments. Then comes that planning adjustments on day two. That information is passed on to the team members, and based upon the new changes or new scope, the team will again continue with their final plans. They will come with the final PA objectives, final plans, final risk dependencies. And the final plan review happens where each team again, they will come back and share, publish their final plans, final risks, final dependencies, everything. These two these three steps on day 2 play a very, very, very crucial key role. The final plan review, the program risk, and the confidence vote. The final plan review, where each team come and present their final plans, final objectives, final dependencies and risks. We are indexing the risk. Day 1, this is what you set us as a context. Throughout our breakouts and throughout our conversations, this is what we were able to commit as part of our team from the implementation perspective, for which this is how we define the objectives. And this is what the business value our product manager, our business owner was tagged for each and every objective. Right? That is what each team will publish. And then the program level risk. The ROAM, resolved, owned, accepted, mitigated. Let me go back to the framework. Yes, the resolved, owned, accepted, mitigated. Team level risk, team, including Scrum Master and Product Owner, they will or they should take care. The program level or release train level risk is what should be reflecting on this risk board or ROAM board. Resolved is like it is already identified, it is already resolved, no more a risk. It is already taken care. Owned is it is still active. Someone is taking ownership of it, and someone will take and get it done by so and so timeline. So, who is the owner? Who is responsible for getting it done? And what's the timelines? It will be tagged. It should be tagged for that owned each and every owned risk. Mitigated is alternative. If not this, something else. If not this, something else. If not this plan, plan B, plan C, plan D, different plans, different options, alternatives. What if the credit card integration with MasterCard is not happening? Okay, let's go with the integration with Visa. What if even that is not happening? Okay, maybe by the timing we will go with the cash on delivery, or maybe the debit card or something else. So a risk is identified, but there could be some other alternative or some other backup plan. There is a sort of risk identified or tagged under mitigated. Then comes the accepted risk. Accepted is a risk which is a known risk which can't be done. No one can do anything. If any such risk happens, that could be end of that release or the product. Example, again, my favorite example, every time I bring this, the COVID vaccine. Right? The laboratories that institutes, pharmaceutical institutes who worked on that, who started working on that, identifying that COVID vaccine, their vision is to come up with a vaccine which can cure or which can bring a preventive measure for that COVID as a symptom or as a disease. So that is what the business context set by the business owner or the stakeholder or the investor. Now they have invited all the scientists or whoever is working on a plan supposed to work on that to that common discussion. And they mentioned that we are expecting you all to work on this for the next 6 months or 1 year. This is what the budget is allocated for this project or initiative. You go ahead and complete. You go ahead and start working on it. Let's suppose there is a context set by the stakeholders. One of them, or maybe all of them, some of them might have raised a concern. Towards end of that 6 months or 1 year timeline, what if we come up with a vaccine which couldn't get the approval or clearance from government? Everything is done from our side, but what if the government is not giving the approval for releasing the vaccine to the market? What shall we do? How do we go ahead? Right? So that is an accepted risk. We can't do anything. That is not in our control. But if it happens, yes, it happens. So why are we raising that as a risk? If any such thing happens, it is not to blame or it is not to take any blame game among anyone. right? So the organization might have spent maybe $1 million, 1 year of time, maybe 1,200 or 1,500 scientists working on that vaccine. What if at the final stage, the government is not giving the clearance or approval to release to the market? Yes, that might be end of that thing. The government might say that, hey, you're not supposed to work on it. This is not giving the expected result, outcome. That's it. Right? So that sort of critical risks should be identified and called out. And if in case there is a criteria, that is how it is, that will be tagged as an accepted risk. So this risk was upfront intimated or informed, identified to everyone on the release train. So during that, throughout that execution, their focus is like, how can we avoid ending up with a situation? They might start discussing what could be the reason government will not give an approval for the vaccine. What could be the challenge? What might happen if the government will not give that approval? Or what is it we as a scientists have to do to not end up in that situation? Right? So everyone will start focusing on how we can avoid ending up in that accepted risk sort of situation. What are all the things we can do to avoid landing up with that accepted risk? All right? You're good? Yes. Then now the confidence vote. So this is where again the entire release train will be. So the input is the program board or the planning board, the ART planning board, and the risk board, the room board, which we discussed just now. So these are the two boards as an input or is the reference point will be used for that confidence vote. So how the discussion happens, say, with the known plans, with the known risk, with the known dependencies, how confident are we to go ahead and start with the execution? How confident are we that end of this PI, we will achieve the committed scope from a release train perspective? This will be done in the two stages. One is a team level and other is a release train level. So team level, ideally the team level confidence vote will be done during the team records. The scrum master will be taking a team confidence vote and they will pass on to the release train engineer. Then the release train level confidence vote, everyone, entire release train, the business owners, stakeholders, product techs, product managers, everyone coming together. Hey, now this is our release train plan, the dependencies, the risks, the challenges. How confident are we to go ahead and commit this code for the next 3 months or for the next 6 sprints? If you have, if you have any doubts, if you have any concerns, let's discuss right now. Or let's discuss at the earliest possible. We are making everyone involved in giving their vote. Ideally, frankly speaking, there is no escape. The business owner or the executive can't say, hey, I'm not aware. I haven't given the approval. They have given the approval in front of the whole release train. Entire release train unofficially or directly give the approval or that confidence vote. Right? So everyone is involved for that confidence vote as well. We can't say, hey, I'm not aware. I don't know. I haven't thought about this. Or you could have told me before. Yes, that is what we are doing this whole 2 days plan. Right? And that is where even the team, in some of the instances for some of the PIs, the risk or the challenge raised by the team members, some of the team members drove the planning discussion entirely different. And by the end of day one, the management review and problem solving, the number of features came down drastically and the scope change happened because the team members raised a concern, hey, we can't complete it, we can't achieve it literally speaking, because of these challenges. We can't complete or we can't achieve this within the 6 sprints or within the timelines, within the available team size. So what is it you as a management will do? That is the input passed on as part of that management review and problem solving. The management has a decision making control with them. Either they can bring in more team members or they can look for a ready-made third-party solution to implement that or reduce the scope. That is what happens as part of the management review and problem solving. Right? We're good? And some cases it happened that we in the sense our release train ended up, instead of we doing it in-house, we outsourced some of the scope of work, or we brought in a existing API or a third-party solution to cover some of the scope of work with the additional budget approval. Because if we have to do, we might need 6 months of time and $1 million to get it done. So are we, not you, are we as a release train, or we as a organization okay to wait until that 6 months in-house to build it, or are we okay to spend another 50K and get a ready-made third-party solution? We can start integrating from tomorrow itself. So that is the decision the management team will take as part of that day one activity. And that's the reason, if you observe, the team members are not involved in the, the management review and problem solving discussion. Because the management has to take a decision. Either they want to go with the scope or the timelines or the budget. Whatever it is, they have to take a decision. Right? Yeah, good.
So just to add, such kind of big decisions many a times are taken even before the PI planning, right? So for example, a build versus buy kind of a decision, right? That is something based on what an organization can do or what an art can do, right? Whether we have those required capabilities with us. We the art stakeholders already know, right, what each team's capabilities and capacities are, right? I mean, or the technical know-hows, right? So they typically take those decisions of this build versus buy even before the PI planning activities. Okay, but yes, as Satish said, sometimes those decisions could be taken on the fly at the time of management review and problem solving. But the main focus of management review and problem solving is to address the team's concerns, okay, which have come up during the team breakout sessions, okay, which they presented as a part of their draft plans and the risks. Okay, if that is getting any kind of a scope change, if that is impacting any kind of a deliverable or the feature which they have actually outlined for this particular PI, whether that feature could be completed or whether they need to change the scope of that feature, they need to descope it, they need to tweak the scope or whatever for that feature. Those kind of decisions based on teams' concerns and teams' inputs, they would take as a part of this management review and problem solving meetings. Okay, and then and on the second day they will convey those decisions to the team, because as Satish rightly said, teams are not involved during these discussions. What the management actually does is they take teams inputs, okay, during this day one of the PI planning, and along with the risks and the other issues which they have raised, right, the dependencies and the risks which they have raised, and based on those inputs they come up with some sort of a decision which might lead to scope changes or feature changes or descoping the feature or changing the scope of a feature or something like that. And those kind of decisions they convey as a part of their next day planning activities, wherein those context will be given back to the teams, and then they go ahead with the second team breakout, okay, during day 2, taking those inputs from the management.
Right? You're good?
Okay.
Like,
Yes, Sunil?
no, I'm saying yes, I'm not.
Okay. Yes, that more or less covered like all the required aspects of that PI planning. So, Anand, you may, you have to drop off, or you can be there for another 5-10 minutes.
5-10 minutes I can be there. Yeah. After that I will.
Okay.
I
Sure.
have a hard stop. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. That's why I'm asking. So,
Yeah.
folks, before, if in case you have any questions, I will be there till 8, but Anand have to drop off. So let's quickly discuss about what we would like to, what do you say, like the solution, what solution we want to work upon, or who would like to play what role. So we need the Scrum Masters and Product Owners for sure. So who would like to play what role? Let us know. We can discuss, and of course we need to prepare. When you say the role, we expect you to be prepared for that role for doing the simulation and as part of the preparation of the backlog as well.
So a small question actually, the planning context is like the sprint 0, right? Of the PI planning. Can I say like that?
Sort of. Not the sprint 0, but yes, the preparation for PA planning happens, and as part of that, we will be doing that discussion, and it will be clarified, or it will be set as a context to the once again during the PI planning.
So who are all the participants in the planning context? Like everybody, all Scrum Masters, all product owners,
everyone, the
all
entire
developers.
Yes, everyone. See, the actual defining. See, this session, they will be what do you say, like setting up or conveying that what is the defined as part of that business context or the vision strategy, but that actual groundwork might have started even a month or two before, right? The way how that sprint planning, when we say we are doing the sprint planning, we are not starting to create that features or the user stories, priorities, estimates then and there. We will be doing our groundwork preparation, and then we will go for that. Same
So
is the
groundwork is what really matters, right? The RTE is the one who is going to split the Scrum team into, see, this is a 6-member team, this is a 8-member team.
Might not be RTE.
No, I'm asking
we'll
you,
discuss on that,
Ashwin. A greenfield project, like we don't know, we just know this is our task, and the team is newly formed. Then who is going to take those decisions?
Product owner, not the RTE. Because product owner knows the the scope of the work, the modules, or how the high level the release plans could be coming up. So they might define how many teams might require versus how many team members might require. Then the engineering managers or the leads might come up with that, okay, we might need these many team members with this skill set, with this experience levels. That is what the responsibility of the engineering managers.
So who decide the Scrum the Scrum team, the cross-functional product owner?
Product owner, most probably. Because by that time, even the RT and Scrum Master might not be even onboarded if it is a brand new team or brand new release team.
Okay, so you have multiple product owners, multiple teams.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
So we will discuss the questions once Anand drops off. But yes, let's figure out what solution. See, the solution is like I have a banking project already available. We can simply use that, or we want to come up with different modules, different domains, right? It is up to us. You let me know.
Banking
But
project.
again,
We go with the banking domain, you know, that's better.
Banking, I have the project already ready, available. I'm
So,
not
yeah,
sure
it
even the
means
backlog is also ready, but I can check once. It is already there, the dependencies, everything. Yeah. So within banking, again, what module?
Like credit cards is one of the
Okay.
module.
Credit cards, we'll see.
Banking, we have card loans department again.
House
Then we
loan.
have like what we say, website
Yes.
level. We have developing a website of that's one.
Yes.
That one we can have module.
Mobile banking.
Yes.
Mobile app.
Mobile banking, yes. That is what I guess. I have that. Where is it? The product. Mobile banking. I prepared this last time. I can use it. See this vision, the gateway for all banking transactions, simple hassle-free experience for secure banking transactions, customer segments, the strategy and the personas. I defined even the personas, the product map. Don't go with the timelines because that is what I prepared previously. Epic to user stories, the release map. These are all the 11 modules which I identified. The release plan, high-level release plan. Yes, if this is what we want, we can go ahead and use it. I can share this also. I'm not sure whether it is shared in the Google Drive, but I can share this also in the Google Drive so that all of us will get an idea. We can go through it and we will use that as a discussion. So online banking app or modules. Okay. So who would like to play the role of Scrum Masters and Product Owners? I'm expecting maybe 4 teams for now because we will post this session details on the our WhatsApp groups and LinkedIn. Let's see how many participants turn up. They will be the team members, but you all have the edge of picking up the role of a Scrum Master or Product Owner.
So I would go for a product owner if you can give me that.
Sure.
I'll go with the Scrum Master.
Chaitanya is Scrum Master. Okay. Who else is Scrum Master?
Madhu here, Satish.
Madhu is Scrum Master. Okay. Madhu Nagaraj. Vaishali, you also want to be a Scrum Master?
Yes.
Okay. Ambrish.
I can be a PO, Satish.
PO. Okay. I will tag you with Madhu. Okay. Who else? Anil, Gokul, Moise.
Yeah, I can be Scrum Master.
Scrum Master. Okay. So 4 teams, 4 Scrum Masters done. Okay. Gokul, you might have to be the product owner then. Anil, how about you?
You can ignore this because I don't have much experience in any of the roles.
Okay, that's fine. It might be new for all of us. That's fine. It's just a learning experience, right? Without knowing, you can be more. What do you say? Like you will bring your own perspective than going from the concepts, right? Again, picking up that banking example, it is easy. I will share that document with all of you. Go through it, and you can pick up now. Now that we know the Anil, I will keep you as a product owner. And who else? Gokul. Gokul, I'm keeping your name as a product owner. So we can choose you as a Scrum Master product owner. You pick and choose 2 teams. I mean, so 2 modules. These are the module names. So you pick and choose as a group, Scrum Master and Product Owner, you pick and choose which 2 modules your team or you as a Scrum Master and Product Owner want to take it up. We will discuss during the simulation whether you want to tag it as 2 separate teams or maybe 1 team handling the 2 modules. We will figure it out as we go into the simulation because based upon number of participants, we will form the teams and we will see.
So here a module is a feature or a epic? How do you
Module. It is a module. It's not
So
epic.
that we
Based
are
upon
going
this, you
to
might have
break
to come
down
up with
into
epic.
features or something?
Yes. This is a high level. We have to do mobile authentication. We have to do display of account summary. We have to do this add update phone number. You figure it out how you want to do it, whether you want to call it as a feature or a user story or a task. It is up to you. Right? Anand, you want to add anything?
Typically, the module will have, just as a guidance, overall guidance. But as Satish said, right, you as a product owner can decide. But typically, these modules would have some set of features, right, with it. Okay, like as it is listed here, right, in profile management. What is listed over here is add phone number, update phone number, right? So those could be the feature for profile management, for example. Okay, but yes, you can decide which all the features each of these modules will have, right? And what we would then expect is, Satish, if correct me if I'm wrong, if this is what we have planned, what we would expect is at least 8 to 10 features, right? Which we would prioritize, right, as a part of our simulation exercise, right? Because typically in a single PI, we have around 8 to 10 prioritized features, right? So you may come up with n number of features, okay, for each of these modules, but not all of them you want to prioritize. Maybe you will prioritize some of them, right? And those will be then taken up for this simulation exercise, right? For example, if you have identified, say for payment transaction, if you have identified 10 features, okay, but you may not want to take all those 10 features, maybe top 2 or 3 prioritized features you want to take for payment module, right, as a part of this PI, right? You might want to prioritize them accordingly.
Okay. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Anand. Yeah. Can drop off. We will be here for another 12 minutes. And any questions,
Thank
any
you.
discussion?
Yeah, we will touch, we'll sync up later, Satish. Okay.
Sure.
And then we can.
So who is the RTE? I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. Who is
Anand.
the RTE?
Anand is RT.
I will be the
Okay.
RTE, and I
Okay,
think
okay.
Satish can be a Satish, which role you want to take?
Agile coach. Agile coach.
Yeah, or
On the coach,
maybe architect.
I will be
Yeah.
the architect, or I will play the role of business owner, executive stakeholders. I will play
exactly.
all dual roles, multiple roles. I will make your life hell or miserable.
You are the architect, Satish, for all these modules, right? You have come up with all
Not
those.
just the architect, the business owner. I will be the business owner and
You can
architect
be a
as
business
well.
owner as well. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Who is
Amrish, Gokul. Yes, Ashwin.
who is you are the solution architect or system architect? What are you like?
Architect for that our PI. That's it.
Solution.
We are just focusing on our solution. Yes, solution architect.
Okay.
See, we are just talking about one single release train. We are not talking about like multiple levels or multiple portfolios or value streams. So one single solution.
System architect.
Yes, system architect. That's it.
Okay.
So, Satish, one question is, before now till that 2 weeks time, do we need to basically choose one of these modules, or will these modules be given to us arbitrarily, or we have an option to choose this one of the modules, and based on that we need to come up with a backlog or epics and things like that? How is it going to work?
Yes. You and Madhu, you both need to work together and pick and choose what modules. I recommend 2 modules. Each of you want to work on as a team. Right?
Okay. And once we choose the module, we need to, you already said there is a backlog, or do we need to again come up with a backlog and again come up with the stories?
I have the backlog. Let me bring that Atlassian. My premium version is expiring. Expired. 6 days left. Okay, that is fine. So I have the. Well, let me bring up the thing. Let me see. See, I have all the user registration, profile management, payments, bank account management, wallet, rewards. All of this I already prepared and kept it in the Jira. Within that, you can update your own features. I will, I will give me your mail IDs. I will share the access for the Jira so that we can go through it and you can update or you can revise anything on top of it.
Okay, so we just so these features we can create new features, or we just whatever you have created, we just stay with it. Okay.
Yes. See, I have all the projects like the bank web app or the things. We have different projects also created. We can still create more projects if required, or different boards. It is up to us, right? So we can create it, and we can. Why I'm telling different boards or different projects? We are planning to make use of Candice. Just a minute. We are planning to use the tool called as Candice, where the configuration for that team level will be happening at the Scrum board. Right? So if you want to visualize the program board, the planning board, if you want to visualize the dependencies across the teams within the Candice as a tool, I recommend different having the features across the different boards. Right? So this is the tool we are planning to use. I will take that free trial. And see, Ashwin, to your point, right? It is at the organization level. We can create the different initiatives or different value streams within which the different release trains and who is what. Everything can be configured within this Candice as a tool.
Okay.
Okay. So we are planning to use this, but our usage is only for one release train. And what we use is like, we will use it for that roadmaps and the timelines, not the roadmaps. Wait, our view is coming up. No, we will use this, the PI or big room planning. And see, this is how the dependencies will be coming up. And we can even create on the fly dependencies as well. So shipping method as a dependency with this integration, and which team, which sprint, what's the status, everything we can create.
So this will be done more or less like an RTE, right? Or we'll also get access
as an RTE. As an RTE. RTE, yes. So we will just use it to visualize, but because the free version of Jira I'm using right now, I have a license for 10. Already, I guess I shared that access with 2-3 members. I will check with them and I will revoke their access so that all of us, 8 of you plus Anand, 9 plus me, 10 of us will have access to the Jira boards, which we can use it. For this Candice, I will ask Anand to do the setup from his side because he will be the RT. He will do the configuration and everything so that he should be driving that discussion.
Okay.
Yes. But otherwise, yes. So this is how the team capacity, the planning scrum of scrum, the confidence vote, everything can be done using this Candice as a tool. So why we are using this? So that you also can share that, hey, I know that this is one of the tools which can be used, or this is how it can be used for the PI planning. So that is how we will get an idea and we can share during your interviews or during your discussions or during your implementation. Right? So this is how the risk will be known, this is how the progress will be tracked, and this has even the WHGF calculation as well. So it is not just for the planning, this tool ideally can be used end to end, starting from defining the feature, doing the WHF, prioritizing it, and then tagging that features to the teams, make the teams split that features into user stories, do that estimates, do that planning, execution, tracking. Everything can be done using this one single tool. Right? And even they recently started using that creating the solution board. What is it? The solution board? One value stream or one solution can have multiple release trains. So we can even do that, which train and what is a program board for that release train. We can even tag that solution level planning as well using this tool. So this is one of the cost-effective tool which can be used from the PI planning perspective. Okay. Thanks, Chaitanya. We are done almost. We are at the top of the hour. Any other questions, any points which you want to discuss before we
just one, like two things.
Yes.
Like what will be the are we planning for the entire quarter or like 3 months or 4 months?
We will try to come up with the 5 or 6 sprints planning. Right, so that we will get the actual feel of that doing the plan. Otherwise, if it is 1 or 2 sprints or 1 or 2 teams, we might not even get that feel. What's the difference between sprint planning and this PI planning? So that's the reason we plan to have the features plus the teams and the sprints as well. Only when we bring that everything together, that's when it helps us to get that high level clarity of why or what's the benefit of doing that PI planning. And
Satish,
one last thing. Yes, Madhu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you share that Excel sheet as an editing mode so that we can
I'll do that.
add our input there, like the number of team members for each team and the capacity and all that. I think we can add it in the Excel so that everybody has visibility to that.
Yes. So I will create a copy of it and I will upload, because this has already some information which I use for different discussions, like 11 Scrum teams, 1 Scrum Master for 2-3 Scrum teams, or different information. I will share this also, but I will create a copy of this sheet and I will give the access to all of you so that we can make use of that for the discussion.
Okay, thank you, Satish.
Sure.
Yes, Satish, can we small request? Can we go through the modules now so that we can distribute?
Yes. Yeah, we can. If you
because again,
if you want,
not. And
we can. See the home page and request for inquiry. I haven't listed anything from my side, but if in case you want to, we can do that. The new user registration and login can be handled by one team. The modules is what I mean, one team is like one Scrum Master and product owner. It could be 2 teams or 1 team. There is based upon number of registrations on that day, we will take a call. But yes, these 2 modules can be go together. And then account management and profile management, 2 of these can go together because these 2 are related. Then the payment transaction rewards, these 2 can go together. Then the additional service and fraud management can go together. And maybe if required, the FAQs as well. So this is what my my suggestion. I'm just grouping them so that it will be easy to pick up what we want to. Right. This is my as an architect, if you ask me, my way of grouping the modules, because these modules have a close dependencies which they need to work very close together.
So as of now, Satish, we are saying each one will get 2 teams or 2 this thing, right? Modules.
Two modules. See, let's suppose only 20 members registered. We will split only 4 teams.
Okay.
What if like we have 40 members registered, then we might split into 8 teams based upon number of registrations coming up.
Okay.
Right? But yes, this is the 4 groupings of the modules which we can pick and choose.
So one team will work on 2 modules, right?
One team,
anyone.
yeah, one team in the sense, one Scrum Master and Product Owner group. 2 of
Okay.
you might be working together on account management and profile management, for example.
Okay, 2
within
modules
the
for
one team, within the
Okay.
one team or within the 2 teams. If you have enough participants, we will split into 2 teams. Account management is one team, profile management is one team. If not,
Okay.
we will
Okay.
ask one single team to take both the features or both the modules.
Okay. Okay.
Right? I mean, does it clarify your question?
Yes.
I mean, that's why I'm calling it as modules, not as a features or not as a teams.
So when I guess like my suggestion, like it's better to allocate now itself.
Yeah,
Because I don't know, like when we going to meet once again, or else we might directly meet on particular.
No, I think we can also have a WhatsApp group for us or something like that.
Yes,
or
we
someone
will create.
can-
We will create. We will
for
create
this,
it and
10 people.
yes.
So Satish, I would like to go with account management and profile management. Me
Okay.
and Chaitanya, account management and profile management as of now.
Okay.
We would like to choose that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's from our side. Maybe other teams may pick it up.
So please give me the easiest one when new user and login. The K and
New user and login. Yes, sure. New user and login. Anil, right? New user. Okay, login. Amrish and Gokul. Gokul, you're quiet today. I'm not sure whether Gokul or Mo is who would like to pick it up.
Can you show me the sheet? Satish?
Sure. So right now the first 4 are done.
Okay.
So between Amrish and you can pick up either payment transactions and rewards or additional services, fraud and FAQ help and support.
I will go with this additional services and FAQ support and the other one, fraud, whichever it is. Yeah.
So we have only payment.
Yes. FAQs. These are all easy. You see, the reason why good that Ashwin you brought up the point, like we would like to go with the banking. It is easy. Our day-to-day transactions of the discussion, right? Just think from that perspective. Anil, even for you, right? So what if you look at if you are registering as a new customer, or what are the pointers you take care of it when you are looking for a logging into your bank account or a bank app? What if you forget your password? What if you forget your user ID? Or how is the authentication happening? So these are the simple things which you can just think from a regular common user perspective and start bringing it. We don't need an exact format of the user story acceptance criteria. No. Just a single statement is also fine. Right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about the formatting and everything. The main intention is to get that feel of that PI planning.
Okay, I will go with the payment and
Yes, the payment and rewards, right? So see, that's where like I already listed the pointers. See the payments, pay the transaction amount, PDF of transaction amount, or Excel of transaction history, or CSV of transaction history, or do the transaction itself. I haven't even listed that. Or number of successful transactions. The rewards is like rewards for groceries, rewards for Amazon or shopping cart, or rewards for Amazon, or increase the reward category pointers. The additional services like recharge mobile or account hack, block, or hijack. FAQs is like a typical FAQs. I already given the high level description. You can pick it up by using that. Right? Yes, the same goes to this also, right? Account and profile management. Changing the user details, adding phone number, updating phone number, or the list of accounts. What if we are creating a new account to a existing customer, or how do you do the KYC for a new existing customer, for a new customer, or requesting a checkbook, or replacement of a credit card, or change in the address or the details. These are all the things which just a common user perspective. That's it, right? No need to go into the granular details or nothing. Just a simple thing. Even if we pick up one of the pointers each, that itself will come as a feature or a user story for a high level discussion. Right? Good.
Yeah.
So I will create a group, WhatsApp group, or I will update the existing group, and I will add all of you to that existing group, and I will share these details, and I will upload this into the Google Drive, and I will give the edit access to all of you, so that you can do the updates to this, and let me know if you want me to use the same email address which you used for registration for giving you the zero access, or if you want me to use other email address, let me know. We can do that. Okay. Good.
Yep.
Yes.
One last thing, Satish, is the timing you're going to send a poll, right? Because last time we discussed, that whatever timing that suits for the PI planning, if you can put it as a poll, it will be better.
That is what I was thinking. We can discuss. Some of the participants are from different time zones, right? So my plan is to have between 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on both the days. Again, that being a Saturday and Sunday, you let me know how we want to go ahead with that. We want the participants also, not just us, right? The team members. When I say participants, the team members also. So what time slot suits all of us? Both the days. We need both the days again, not just one day.
Right. I would say, Satish, it's too early at this point of time. At least, let's see, like as you said, number of people who if they increase in terms of more registrations, then maybe I think you can get a poll out, and that will be easier. Because right now, if we discuss something, and then what if a lot of people come and say, I have weekend plans, and evening I'm not available, everything will fall off, right?
That's fine. Then whoever is there, we will discuss among ourselves. That's it. Right? I mean, there should be a balance, or there should be a strike off somewhere to see that. And that's the reason, like, my intention is to publish the agenda or the schedule at the earliest possible, so that, like, the folks who won't come back and say, hey, I already have a plan.
Right. Is it possible, like something like a second half, like what you said, 2 to 6 or something? Would that be okay? Just a proposal.
Yeah, we will create the WhatsApp group, right? We ourselves will come up with common timing, then we will publish to others.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Ashwin, you are getting the feel how the actual discussion happens. This is the exact way the Scrum Masters and Product Owners coming together, and with RT, they will discuss, okay, when should be the PI planning, what session should happen, everything.
This is the planning
Exactly
context.
started.
No. What happens in the planning context is again a mystery for me.
This is
all
indirectly
pre-PI planning, right? This is all pre-PI planning.
Yes. What happens during the planning context, we will get more clarity on that simulation day. If in case you still have a doubt,
okay.
Our RT Anand will help us get more clarity on that.
Okay, sir, that's great.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Anand and we both have a lot of groundwork to do from our side to prepare to come up with the Kendis tool, the configuration, and everything. And next week in the sense, this week being a long weekend, I will be traveling Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So from 19th onwards, we might be having a discussion, me and Anand. So if any of you are interested, we will post in that group. You also can join our discussion. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
We will publish at least a the day before that during this time, Anand and myself, we both are going to discuss, or we both are doing the configuration, something like that. You also can join. If not, we will record that also. We will share among ourselves, not with everyone. Right? We are good?
Yes, very good. Yeah.
Okay, yes. So, how is the Josh after completion of this session?
Sir, it is very mysterious because we don't know how many people are our team. So it is like, I think this is really, we didn't recruit the team, right?
The actual PA planning, actual execution, the team will be onboarded first, then the scrum masters will come last. But we are doing a reverse approach.
This is like the waterfall method of planning. First you take the project manager and then later you do the developers and you hire them, right?
No, the reason is like why we are having this conversation last week and this week is like, I am fine even if the participant is not sure about the concept. But we as a product owner, we as a scrum master should be able to explain, should be able to clarify during the breakouts at least.
Okay.
Right? That's the reason we are having this much of detailed discussion. What happens when we do prepare what is it is expected out of the scrum master or the team or the product owner, what's the expected outcomes of each and every event. Because if you as a scrum master, you as a product owner don't know, the team will say, hey, my scrum master haven't told me, my product owner haven't set the context. What shall we do?
Okay.
We don't want that thing.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
So the product owner, I mean, the product owner is supposed to write the user stories and acceptance criteria?
That's fine. No acceptance criteria. No, don't go to that level. Just high level user stories. That's it.
Okay, high level 4 or 5 user stories, right? At the max.
Yes.
Okay, right.
Okay, you're good?
Yeah, good.
Yes. Okay, cool. Have a nice weekend.
Okay,
nice
thank
discussion. Let's continue. And once we create this WhatsApp group, feel free to drop any questions or clarifications within that. And I will share today's recording as a private YouTube link, which means only to using your email address, you can access it.
Okay. And the Excel sheet will be sent to our emails?
No, the Google Drive. I will share it on the Google Drive, common folder.
Okay.
Not on the Google, not on the email, because if you want to do any edits, everyone will get that updates. Right?
Okay, Google Drive.
Local copies.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Satish. I mean, that's what I wanted to ask. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Well, let's rock.
Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
all.
all. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.